Hey, this is JT, and in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 biggest mistakes I made when I started training calisthenics so you don't repeat them. Mistake number 1, I didn't buy gymnastics rings. While it's true that I still built plenty of pulling strength and pressing strength with pull-ups and push-ups, I was really missing out on being able to incorporate quality row work as well as getting into dips and other pressing movements that would have been beneficial. Now, the rings may be the ultimate upper body calisthenics tool, but they're not only for advanced trainees. Very elementary rowing progressions and some pressing progressions, such as your support hold, are perfect for beginners to calisthenics, and starting your rings training early is going to help accelerate your strength and muscle mass pursuits and help you get better at calisthenics faster than if you wait to incorporate the rings. The second mistake I made when I started training calisthenics was I didn't focus on mobility. This was a huge mistake because poor ankle, hip, and shoulder mobility didn't rear their heads early, but later in my training they would limit my ability to progress and forced me to go back to the drawing board to start addressing mobility. The thing about improving mobility is it doesn't have to be separate stretching. It doesn't need to be an entirely different workout. It can be in the form of altering your strength training to start working on skills such as the Cossack squat I'm demonstrating here that will open up the hips, improve mobility and strength at the same time without having to spend dedicated time stretching. So mobility training and strength training can be blended so you're knocking out improvements in both at the same time. The third mistake I made when I started training calisthenics is I didn't apply the principle of specificity. No matter how bad you want to do an advanced body weight strength element, you're never going to get there if you don't specifically train that element. What I mean is, no matter how many pull-ups you can do, it's not going to make you better at doing one-arm pull-ups. No matter how many push-ups you can do, it's not going to make you better at doing one-arm push-ups. So if you have a goal in mind, be it a front lever, be it a back lever, one arm chin, whatever it happens to be, the only way to get there is to start training those actual movement patterns. So you should start training those things early in your calisthenics journey as opposed to waiting till later under the false assumption that if I just get better at pull-ups, the one-arm pull-up is going to be easier. If I just get better at push-ups, the one-arm push-up is going to be easier. No, you need to start training that unilateral movement, that front lever, that back lever. You need to start with small, incremental progress within those actual movement patterns. That's going to help you get way further ahead, way faster, and not waste as much time as I did early on in your journey. The fourth mistake I made when I started training calisthenics was I trained at too high of an intensity too frequently. Anytime that you're going to add a new movement pattern, regardless of what it is, to your exercise, I recommend you do it only twice a week. This is going to allow you ample time for your connective tissues to repair and remodel after practicing that new movement. As you get stronger and more efficient and your connective tissues remodel, then maybe you can go to 3 days a week. The only thing practicing any individual movement pattern more than 2 to 3 times a week at a high intensity is going to do is increase your risk of tendonitis like it did for me. It's going to sideline you, make you take time off your training, and slow down your progress at calisthenics, which is the opposite of what you want. The fifth mistake I made is I didn't use weights to help overload the lower body. When I first started training calisthenics, I was burned out on traditional weightlifting at the gym. Because of that, I was a calisthenics purist. So I wanted to do everything 100% external load free. So I wanted to use just my body weight, the pull-up bar, the ground, and eventually gymnastics rings. The reason I would go back and redo this and use weights for lower body is because it's going to help you to overload and reach a point close to failure at a much, much lower rep range than you would be able to use otherwise. Now, I'm not talking about heavy barbell back squats, although those are fine. What I'm talking about is using some simple dumbbells to help overload the core calisthenics lower body movements you should be doing anyways. So when you're doing lunges, reverse lunges, when you're doing Cossack squats or your lateral lunges, your pistol squat progressions, you're going to utilize dumbbells to help add load to these same movement patterns that you want to progress anyways for calisthenics to help you reach failure at a much, much lower rep range so that you don't spend time doing 30 and 40 rep sets for lower body. Because I'm going to be real honest with you, that's not enjoyable at all. But if I could go back and do it all over again, I'd be using dumbbells to help overload the lower body and make my training more efficient, accelerating my progress across those same calisthenics lower body movement patterns that we all want to get better at. After watching this video, I hope that you're going to order gymnastics rings if you don't own them already. You're going to make sure that you focus on mobility and strength. You're going to apply specificity to the exercises you want to get better at. You're not going to train at too high of an intensity too frequently. And you're going to use weight to help you overload lower body much more efficiently, saving you a whole lot of time. Avoiding those 5 mistakes is going to go a long way to keeping you on track in your calisthenics journey. I want to make sure you get the most out of your gymnastics rings, and you can do exactly that by clicking this video right here.